reparationsnowdoc.com. That's reparationsnowdoc.com. You don't want to miss this groundbreaking documentary. We are going to make history here and right now. reparationsnowdoc.com. Also go to our e-commerce store at etnmediagroupstore.com. That's etnmediagroupstore.com. As always, thank you for your support, peace, and reparations. The Road to Reparations show coming soon. All hands on deck. Get informed, get involved, take action.
Amend the Mass Media Group is California Capital's premier YouTube channel focused on reparations, dedicated to political advocacy and unapologetically aimed at shining a spotlight on our righteous justice claim for reparations.
Private action, particularly since the broken promise of Reconstruction and the injustice, our human right to self-determination with a renewed spirit and energy that enables us to freely determine our political status and to pursue our economic, social, and cultural development via comprehensive reparatory justice policies.
That was excellent.
And I would just like to say that as we move forward to Reggie Jones Sawyer and
on the Supreme Court of the United States of America is meeting to tell us, even as we meet, that affirmative action should be no more. I say to you, my teacher and friend, Dr. Martin Luther King was right when he said in that class in social philosophy in 1962, if America and California, I would say parenthetically, has done mean, unjust things to the Negro, it must organize and do good things with the Negro for the benefit of the Negro. End of quote. That sounds like reparations. That sounds like affirmative action.
We need it. We need attention. We need the reparation. And please, 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 thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your testimony this morning. Our next speaker should be either Elizabeth Jackson, Walter James.
For inviting me to give testimony on this final day of reparations task force meeting. I also want to recognize my council member, Council President Pro Tem, Monica Montgomery Stepp from San Diego, who represents.
I'm not sure where number 24 is. You're good. Okay. On behalf of Burgess family.
It is my high honor and esteemed privilege to acknowledge what this unusual, dynamic, loving, and courageous woman has done. I present to you, Dr. Weber, the fruits of your labor.
Say it.
And I acknowledge that it is significant that we are presenting this at a time when the largest Protestant denomination in America is on the wrong side of history.
Say it.
The Southern Baptist Convention, who would underestimate and exclude women from giving leadership. But she's proven that she's a virtuous woman.
Virtue.
Wise up. She says she's a smart, dynamic woman. And your work will forever live as long as the culture of memory shall listen. God bless you.
And we were just about out of time, and then this task force likes to be timely. Like to start on time and end on time and eat on time. Let me simply say that, you know, I am humbled and honored by the things that have taken place in the last 3 years. It was 3 years ago that we got this bill passed. And as I look at the new faces on the front row, all those young folks were not here 3 years ago when the caucus was fighting to get this passed. And yet each one of them has taken, since they've been here, an interest and a commitment to making sure that the work of the task force will move forward. And I want to thank them for being here for the day for that, because oftentimes we don't see a lot of transition that occurs, and yet we see it today. I'm very proud of this task force. I'm really proud of the young folks on the task force. And I say young folks because I'm old. I don't mind being old because there's only one cure for being old, and I'm not ready for that. But let me just simply say that it's as a professor for 50 years, it is heartwarming to see the transition of knowledge and experience and commitment at the same time. You know, we have always had knowledge, but we've not always had it mixed with commitment. And we've been told that you have to have not just knowledge, but a commitment to the implementation of that knowledge and the use of people. And so it's great to see folks who still have more years to go to fight this battle and to continue the struggle. You know, people often say, you are a very courageous person. And I have to remind them that I'm not really courageous. My daddy was courageous. And when he stood up for himself. Because if he had been taken out, he would not even been listed in the history books, nor have been concerned, nor would there have been a case against anyone for destroying his life. And so I'm not courageous because at least I have the support of my security that's here. I have the support of knowing that if anything happened, you folks would be there. And so I'm not that courageous in that sense. But I think most of us realize that there are prices to be paid when you stand up. It may not be your life. It may be people challenging you when you become reelected to something, or challenging you for a commission, a job, or whatever it may be. And so it requires courage. Maya Angelou said it is impossible to implement any of your values without courage, because there will always be a challenge at some point. And the question is whether or not you stand for what you believe or not. This has been a journey. I thank those who work so hard on it, because I know that you cannot get a product like this, if you've actually read it, and I've read most of it, and I read all the executive summaries last night, you can't get a good product if people don't believe in what the product is going to do. It's impossible. I've done a tremendous amount of, those who've looked at my legislation, and some of it is actually mentioned in this document. But when you look at the legislation I've done, and many of you have been there with me, and I tell people all the time, I could never have done the things I did in the Assembly for the 8 years without an Army behind me. And I see some of the Army faces here of those who walk with me and been with me every step of the way. So it requires courage. It requires that passion. And you can't get it done. People will say to me, how did you get 392 and this bill and that bill and RIPA done and all those things that they find now being implemented? I said, it's because I had a staff that believed in what I did. Young people who took the fire. Some of them still here. Rory was here today, who took the fire. Yes. Who was always present, always at every meeting, and standing up and defending you and me. So that I know that this is the product of those who believed. And every time I talk to those on the legal staff and others, and I'm really not a big fan of lawyers. I was married to a lawyer for 29 years. And I know they can double talk a lot. They say things 3 times the same way, with a different period of comma. But nonetheless, we had these lawyers who believed in this project, regardless of their ethnicity. They all believed in what they were doing. And that produces an amazing product that really gives anyone who has a question about reparations, it gives them an answer. It gives them references. It gives them data. And so those of you who are excited about this big book, I hope you not only get one, but that you read it. That you read it, even if it takes you a year, that you do a chapter a night or something, that you look at the information, that you look at the references, because there's tremendous wealth in this document. And we have to read it because then we can internalize it. And when people come to us with negative comments, you will have an answer. Yes. Because it's right here in this book. Yes. Don't depend on these folks to tell you what to say. Amen. You learn it for yourself, and you defend it, and you say it, and you take it everywhere you go. This is a journey. This is a battle. This is not something simple. I can tell you that. There will be constant attacks. There will be those who look for the weak point in the document to point it out. You're going to become the advocate for this now that you've been here. You're going to become the new scholar, the person who has the information that can spread it to your organizations, your social places, all those things. Because there are already people who attack what we're doing. And they have done that. And that's why I'm so pleased with the document itself, because it answers every question. It leaves no one to wonder why we need to have reparations. It leaves no one to wonder, is it the thing that America does? Yes, it is. It gives no one to wonder, was there harm done? It is evident. It is here. And we all not only can not just talk about ourselves, but we can see the data and the information that's here. That it's not just one story, but it's the legacy and the history of how this nation has treated us. It is imperative that we do that. So often we miss the fact, and I sometimes do when I think about it, that the impact of slavery on my life is the taking of my identity and my heritage. Yes, yes. Sometimes we forget that. And we think we can find it somewhere else, those who have not traveled. But since I have been to the continent, I don't know, 20, 30 times, probably about 30 times, to north, south, east, west, and the central portions of Africa, I've been there. And I've been there as a scholar, I've been there as a visitor, I've been there as a friend, I've been there searching for myself. Right. And I can tell you unequivocally that I am an American.
America! American! American!
That part. I'm an American with African traditions, heritage, and so forth and so on.
That's right. Say it.
But this is my country.
That's right.
This is it. And there's no point because I have tried to figure out if I could fit in. And I do when I go, and I enjoy it, and I love it, and I embrace it. But the reality is,
right here.
I am an American.
Right here.
This is it.
Right here.
We have to make this respond to our needs. Nobody can tell you to go back somewhere else because there's nowhere else to go.
Thank you.
No matter how we do Ancestry.com, no matter how I can to talk about the various places that I've been, that I know where my heritage comes from. The reality is, stripped from me from day one and my ancestors was that past. And you can learn the language, you can make the food, you can wear the clothes, but in the end,
That's right.
this country has shaped and formed us.
That's right.
And we have given to it. And we have a right to be here. Yes. We have a right to have the benefits. Yes. And we have the rights of those to acknowledge the harm that's done and begin the process.
This is our country.
I thank all of you for the work that you've done. All of you who produced this amazing document. I want to thank everybody who's here. I thank my family, my kids who sometimes went through the journey with me on many, many revolutions and things. I thank my daughter who's now sitting in my seat in the assembly. I worried when I came to Secretary of State's office that I would wonder, everybody worried, what's going to happen to the AB 79? What's going to happen to your seat? And I didn't know, and I was concerned. And then little did I know, sitting in my house was the answer. But I'm very proud of her and her colleagues that are here today, that are still taking on the challenge that's there. But I'm most of all thankful to my parents, who are not here with us, but who gave me the best that they had. And it was not much, but was all that I needed. And I want to thank them for their love, for their perseverance, for never telling me I could not do things, but not placing limitations on me, who gave me all they had. And for those, my father often said that he would drink muddy water and sleep in a hollow log if I want to go to school. And he meant every word of that. Every degree that I had, my father was there with me with whatever he had. And it wasn't much. But he and my 7 brothers and sisters were my foundation. I was one of the younger ones. But they believed in me to this day. And they still count on their little sister to do great things. And so I really thank them for their vision of me. But the driving force obviously was always my father. Because my father believed that he was treated wrong because he didn't have an education, because he didn't have a chance, because he didn't have a voice. But he made sure that I had one. And he said every day of his life that life would be better for his children. And I sometimes become concerned when I can't say that for my children and my grandchildren. So all of our commitment is not just to ourselves, but with the resolution that what a man with a less than a 6th grade education said every day of his life. He knew for certainty that life would be better for his children. And we must make that commitment also. So thanks so much to the task force. Thank you to those who worked so hard on it. This has been a labor of love. We know that this steps our future forward, and we will continue to move forward. Thank you so much.
Put it in the high school. Black history in K through 12.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I got it in my case.
Wonderful.
Good seeing you again. Good seeing you.
Appreciate you, man.
It's time of team. It's time to make a change. We are his people. We can do it.
That's right.
So now we will hear from California Legislative Black Caucus members, namely Assembly members Tina McKinnon.
Because the world is getting ready to hear us right now. Answer my question. What do we want? When? 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 What do we want? Thank you.
Thank you.